You. Yeah. Hi Bessie, welcome back to my channel. Oh, I wanted to say that so much. Now I can finally say welcome back to my channel because I already posted a video. Okay, I know you saw the title and I know you're expecting me to talk about books, but first, let's just take a second and admire my beautiful Sailor Moon makeup to match my Sailor Moon shirt. Wow! Now, let's get to business because we have books to talk about. So I posted on my Insta stories and I asked you guys what should my next video be. And a lot of you told me to show you my top 5 books of all time. Mind you, these are changing a lot because we read book constantly, so they're gonna get changed. But I have some good ones in there. Let me preface by saying 80% of these are fantasy. Shh, I don't want to hear it. It is my favorite genre, you know? I have the little books here. Let me know in the comments if you recognize them already before seeing the cover. So I'm gonna start with one of the OG books that got me into reading fantasy. This I read like 2 years ago or something like that, and it still stayed in the top books that I've read. And I think the top series, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in a duology. Six of Crows is the first book, and The Crooked Kingdom is the second book in the duology. If you're not familiar with Leigh Bardugo, you should be, because she's amazing. Let me just read you the back of the book first, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. Criminal prodigy Kaz Brecker has been offered a chance at a deadly heist. Break into the Ice Court, a military stronghold that has never been breached, and retrieve a hostage whose knowledge could change Grisha magic forever. To succeed would mean reaches beyond Kaz's wildest dream, but he can't pull it off alone. This baby needs a found family. A convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, a thief with a gift for unlikely escape, 6 dangerous outcasts, 1 impossible heist. Together they might just be unstoppable, if they don't kill each other first. This book right here is a piece of art. If you don't like the Six of Crow duology, what more do you want from books? This book is Ocean's 11 meets Game of Thrones. What's so satisfying about this book is that Kaz Brecker, who's like the guy who gets together the whole gang to go and do the heist, he's like, you know, when you're like rooting for the villain, he's like always one step ahead of everyone. When you think they're gonna get caught, they're not. Because this guy is a genius. You're not going to be able to put it down because you're going to be like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? Are they going to get caught? Are they going to like make it? What is this thing that they've been talking about in the beginning? But I don't know yet, but it seems intriguing. Also, you like sprinkle a little bit of romance in there. Not too much, just enough. My favorite characters to follow in this duology is Nina and Matthias. Their love story is it's the best. I definitely recommend to start reading this one. There's also just 2 books, so it's not like you're taking a huge commitment, you know? The next book, people that know me on Instagram, they're sick of hearing about this one. And you know what? Fight me.
Okay. Hold my earrings, please.
I am not gonna stop talking about this book. Not even a book. It's fan fiction. And if you haven't heard about this by now, where have you been living? Because this has been talked about left and right. And I know it's a big commitment because it's quite long, but it's totally magnificently worth it. I'm talking about Manacled by Senlin Yu. This is a Harry Potter fan fiction, but it's so good that it's gonna be published next year. Of course, they're gonna change the characters and they're not gonna keep the names and stuff like that. But I'm still very excited to see what she's gonna do with this. Let me tell you something. If you think that you're getting emotional watching Harry Potter, if you're gonna read this, this is gonna be the end of you. This book changed my brain chemistry, made me sob, destroyed me, gave me depression, and I give it a 5 star. Let me give you a little bit of a what's this about? Because you're like, Harry Potter fan fiction? What? It's Hermione getting along with Harry Potter? No. This is dark. This has trigger warnings. Listen to this. Harry Potter is dead. In the aftermath of the war, in order to strengthen the might of the magical world, Voldemort enacts a repopulation effort. Hermione Granger has an order secret, lost but hidden in her mind, so she's sent as an enslaved surrogate to the High Reeve to be bred and monitored until her mind can be cracked. So basically, after the war, every good character of the Order is dead. The story is split between 2 timelines. The timeline where Hermione is in the Hogwarts dungeons, but she doesn't remember anything. So she is sent to the High Reeves to try and recover her memory and see if she's hiding something. And the second part where we're getting the past of what happened to lead up to that point. I really think that Manacle is not just a piece of fan fiction. It's one of the best well-constructed fantasies out there. It's a dark, devastating storytelling of trauma and the sacrifices that have to be done during war. So I will warn you, this story is dark, but I believe that the darkness is needed. I feel like without the darkness, the intensity of the love and the sacrifice in this book will not be highlighted the same. It's very good. And I'll end it with one of my favorite quotes.
I have warned you. If something happens to you, I will personally raise the entire order. This isn't a threat, that is a promise. Consider your survival as much as the necessity to the survival of the resistance as spotters. If you die, I will kill every last one of them.
Oh my god.
About the fact that it's gonna be published, I don't know if it'll have the same effect, because the biggest thing that affects you is that these characters are part of your childhood. You fell in love with these characters when you were a kid, and to see them in these situations, it's very, very difficult. So we'll see if the published book will have the same effect. But I'm still gonna support Senlin Yu because she is amazing. Okay, let's take a break from the dark books and let's talk about one of my favorite romance books out there, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. If you haven't picked up an Ali Hazelwood book by now, what are you doing? No, I don't know. Shut up. Just get one right now. I am so mad at myself because I put off buying and getting one of her books for so long because I looked at them and I was like, they seem so boring.
Your mouth is moving a lot like a rat.
She is such a great author, and I love the worlds that she's building. She's always making the female character independent, smart lady. I love that about Ali Hazelwood. I know that she is in the field of neurology, and I think that is why she writes about this stuff. Oh, she has a PhD in neuroscience. This one was my first Ali Hazelwood book, and I don't know, it's just stuck with me. It has some underlayers that I could relate to. This lady, this sweetheart, Elsie, she's smart. But you know what? Sometimes science doesn't pay the bill. So she's doing this fake girlfriend service. So she has one of these regulars, and he has an older brother that she met before. But this older brother knows that she's a librarian because she doesn't divulge real details about her life in this fake girlfriend service. So when she gets the chance of getting a great job, one of the people that gets to decide if she gets the job or not is Jack, the older brother. And he's like, aren't you a librarian? What are you doing in the physics department? And she's like, I'm actually not. And then it's just like this enemy to lovers story. But Elsie is a people pleaser. She always thinks about other people and how to please them. I am a people pleaser at core, and I felt that. This poor girl is struggling with it, and I'm like, girl, me too. Also, this book is so funny and quirky, and you're just gonna chuckle all the way through it. You're gonna kick your legs in the air. You're just gonna have the greatest time ever. The next book, House of Earth and Blood. This is the first book in the Crescent City series. There are now 3 books out there. House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, and House of Flame and Shadow. Let's come back to this big boy because it's... How much? Is it ever that serious? Like 800 pages? Yes, it is that serious. I've seen so many people being like, the world building is so intimidating. Yes, this is not a beginner book. I will say this. If you haven't read fantasy before, do not start with this one. If you have read fantasy, this is a great read because as you read fantasy, sometimes you get to see that some books are very similar, and this one is very, very unique. What Sarah always managed to do is build the world, but at the same time keep the action interesting. Let me read you the back of the bookie. Bound by blood, tempted by desire, unleashed by destiny, Bryce Quinlan loves her life. Every night is a party, and Bryce is going to savor all the pleasures. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so bad at pronouncing this. Lunathian, also known as Crescent City, has to offer. But when a brutal murderer shakes the very foundation of the city, Bryce comes crashing down. Years later, Bryce still haunts the city's most notorious nightclubs, but seeking only oblivion now. Then the murderer attacks again, and when an infamous fallen angel, Hunt Athlahar, is assigned to watch her every footstep, Bryce knows she can't forget any longer. As Bryce and Hunt fight to unravel the mystery in their own dark past, the threads they tug ripple through the underbelly of the city, across warring continents and down to the deepest levels of hell, where things that have been sleeping for millennia are beginning to stir. One thing that sets this book apart is the fact that it's in a modern day setting. It's not in a fairy tale world in the forest. No, they have cell phones. They're living in the modern day. First, I thought I will hate that. You are gonna love the freshness that the city brings to a fantasy. Another thing that touched my heart in this book is the relationships in here. There's friendship, there's brotherhood, and you're gonna get to see these people evolve. I feel like the quote that describes this book the best is, through love, all is possible. You're gonna see this throughout the book. Everything that Bryce doing in this book is for her friend Danica. If you love a good girl friendship and you feel like sobbing, you should definitely pick this up. I forgot to say, this book has one of my favorite magical creatures, which is sprites, Lehabach. Love for you. If you managed to stick around until now, let me see. Comment pink heart emoji. Last book. Last book is a book that I recently read. It's the second book in the Shepherd's King duology by Rachel Gillick, Two Twisted Crowns. I have the first book here too. Put me behind bars, but I will not stop speaking about this because this is such a good series. If you didn't like these, I don't know what you want from books. This has unique characters, great development, great magic system, a little bit of romance. It's just, but out of the two books, I believe that the second book is a bit better. I think in order for you to understand, I'm just gonna read the back of the first book and then we're gonna talk about the second book. Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, she is thrust into a world of shadow and deception. Together, they embark on a dangerous quest to cure the town of Blunder from the dark magic infecting it. As the stakes heighten and their undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The nightmare is slowly, darkly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him. I think I've had people asking me, is this dark? I don't like reading horror. This is not dark. This is just like gothic, misty, rainy day book. It's nothing scary. It just gives you those feels, like dark academia. And the way she wrote the sequel, it's so good. You love the main characters, but Rachel made me care about secondary characters as much, if not even more, than main characters. The main idea of this series is that this magic mist has set around this town. So our main character just works to just try and untangle the mystery of the mist and lift the mist. The most interesting thing to me about this book, it was the magic system. So basically people have these cards, they're called Providence cards, and they can tap them and get magic from them. But the thing is, you cannot use it for too long. All of these cards come with secondary effects. So in total, there's 12 types of Providence cards, and each one of the 12, it will give the person using it power. So basically this is a card, you have to tap it and you can use the magic, and then you have to tap it again to stop the magic, which is so cool. There's like different types, like one makes you strong, one makes you control people, one makes you pretty. In order to lift the mist, they had to collect all the 12 type of cards. One of the cards hasn't been seen and no one has it. It's called the Twin Adlers, and they go on this quest to find the Twin Adlers, and it's just so good. I really think you should read this book. It's amazing. That was the fifth and the last book. Mind you, these 5 top books change constantly for me. These are some books that I would definitely recommend to anyone, and I would really want you to let me know in the comments if you read any of this or if you plan on reading them. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments, besties. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram because that's where I usually ask you guys on stories what my next YouTube video should be about. Thank you so much for being here. Please like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.